Hello everyone and welcome back to Because Why? I do apologize about the delay. It's been roughly a month, but you see, I've been learning how to take people's blood. #casual vampire life. So let's jump right in. So last time, Catherine asked me, who is the very first Pokemon? And this, for those of you who may not remember or don't know, I actually used to work at the company that makes the English version of Pokemon.
What up, Duard? What up, TPCR? Represent!
So based on the information I was able to take in via diffusion while working, I can at least narrow it down to my top 3, which is that it could be Pikachu, Team Rocket's Meowth, or Mew. First, we've got everyone's favorite little yellow rodent, Pikachu. This fella is on the list because he is literally in every single episode of the series, and every movie. Basically, he's never not there. But I think there's something to be said about the fact that despite being Ash's main companion for 20 years, that they have never considered evolving him, or at least whenever someone will bring it up in the show, immediately Ash says it's never going to happen. Now, as much as I would love to go into my theory of how I think Pikachu might actually be Pokemon Jesus, unfortunately, Jesus is not the first human, and so he's kind of out of the running. I don't think he was the very first Pokemon, despite his importance, and being the mascot of the whole series. Moving right along, what about Team Rocket's Meowth? He is literally the only Pokemon that can say more than just his own name over and over again. Could it be that due to him being so old that he's learned how to speak, did he mentally evolve without physically evolving as well? All of this might be possible had we not learned about his origin story, where we literally see a little baby Meowth meet Team Rocket after deciding to go to Hollywood because, quote, it had fried chicken and ice cream. This is canon, everyone! I just want to repeat, that is the truth. Look it up. So last but not least, we are left with my frontrunner candidate, Mew. So the facts that weigh heavily in Mew's corner is that, for one, Mew is basically described as the equivalent of a god unicorn. Mew is apparently very rarely seen, in fact, over and over in different movies and show episodes. They've talked about how they really think there's only one that exists in the whole entire world. And on top of that, there are hieroglyphics that are dedicated to Mew existing and basically kind of outlining how important past civilizations considered Mew to be. And number 2, kind of going back to what I mentioned just earlier, which is that there's thought to be only one of them, which is why Mewtwo is such a weird, screwed up, roided out clone that is kind of the antithesis of everything Mew stands for. Mewtwo is what seems to be the equivalent of, like, Bane, but the dumb Bane that we see in the Poison Ivy version of Batman. Just bad. Just real bad. Real angry, real upset all the time. And finally, the main reason why I think Mew is the OG Pokemon is thanks to this quote that I found from Bulbapedia, which is, Mew is said to have the DNA of every single Pokemon contained within its body, and as such is able to learn any attack. Now, what we all learn in Biology 101 is that all creatures ascended from one common ancestor, which is why we share so much DNA with all different types of animals and even vegetation. If Mew has literally all of the DNA of every Pokemon that's ever existed, I'm pretty sure that's some strong evidence that Mew is in fact the very first Pokemon.
Now bow down to your supreme ruler, Ash Ketchum!
So now, Catherine, my question for you this time around is, what are the top 3 things that are guaranteed to make you cry? I've been listening to a lot of the podcast Cry Babies, which all of you should check it out, and now I want to know what everyone's crying cues are. Literally, whatever you say, no judgment. Alright, cool kids. See you later. Bye!